Greetings, kindred, and a happy new moon to you all. So here we are already at the new moon. I can't believe we're already here. Actually, I'm recording this on the 6th of May, and the new moon will take place on the 8th of May at 4:21 in the GMT time zone, at 13:21 in the AEDT time zone, and on the 7th of May, the new moon will begin in the EDT time zone at 23:21. So as the new moon begins, she will be at 19 degrees in Aries, conjunct the sun, as she always is at a new moon. So 19 is quite a good number, actually. You know, it's very good for children and young people, or for those of us that work with them. It's also a very creative number, but not creative in a spiritual sense as such. It's more about being creative physically, like maybe with dance or exercise, mentally, where we can, get into more of a positive thinking state, and emotionally as well. So 19 really brings in that good feeling, like that sense of good feeling. We can really manifest under this energy as well. And we can be very unconditionally loving. We can develop that or enhance that. And seeing basically the joy in life, looking towards nature and all things natural. So this number is actually influenced by Leo. So, with the Leo energy and the moon energy, I mean, they're both fire. So it's all about the inner willpower. It's all about the spirit, the strength of spirit. And, Aries and Leo are also very self-focused. They can really get into that self-focused mode. And, sometimes it can be kind of come across as a bit selfish, but it's good for the times that we need to focus on ourselves, especially if we're, looking for some kind of rejuvenation, or we want to try something new, and we are getting into that mode, and it is kind of more possible now. And I say that because Mercury will be coming out of post shadow on the 13th. So it is a few days after the new moon. And I would wait until after that date before, going into anything new, signing new contracts, getting into new relationships, especially with, Mercury was retrograding through Pisces, which is all about our emotion and our creativity. So we could have felt really held back over the last month or so, really feeling a little bit stagnant when it comes to our creative flow, our inner strength, our, you know, just that flow really of like pushing forward, because it was really quite a heavy Mercury retrograde that we went through, especially since we also had the solar and lunar eclipses take place as well. Things are still, a little bit bleak at the moment, because we do have the Black Moon Lilith in conjunction to the South Node in opposition to Chiron, who's in, just coming out of an exact conjunction with Mercury, but still kind of pretty close to the North Node. So there's still a lot of emotional stuff going on at the moment. And maybe, we can be self-reflecting a little bit too much as well with that. I think sometimes if we're going through that dark period, either emotionally, well, I'd say more so emotionally, and trying to, sometimes with the Virgo energy, with the Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, we can like be a little bit too hard on ourselves with our self-assessment. You know what I mean? So I would say just like, still, if that healing process is going on in your life right now, either with you or someone you're close to, then there just needs to be a little bit more patience with that and a little bit more of self-acceptance. And if we look at the reality of those situations, like we can't change the past, but we can change the future. So whatever regrets we have from the past, we don't need to take them into the future. We can just walk into the future with a new kind of self-evaluation. We could take that step forward if we're ready. If some healing work still needs to be done, then, still do that right now. And, they are still creating a T-square towards the goddess Ceres. So it is all about self-nurture. We must reach out if we are not in a place where we can nourish ourselves. If we're struggling in any way, we should reach out and get support. Because support is there. Especially since this T-square is almost aligned with this Grand Cross aspect, although it's with the midheaven here in England. It's very, very close. So it's still energetically going to feel like more of a Grand Cross, that no matter what roads we go to or go down, we always seem to end up in the same place, whether that's mentally, physically, emotionally, or with life experience. But that's because, there's stuff to finish there. It's like it's not complete yet. We're still not recognizing something. And like with the Black Moon Lilith's shadow energy, we can, she can blind us to pinpointing where that energy is coming from so we can deal with it or face it. So there's still a little bit of a struggle there with many people. And Pluto did go into retrograde on the 2nd of May. And here in the UK, we had our local elections, and a lot of people are not happy with the results. Do you know what I mean? But then a lot of people didn't go out and vote. So, it's just one of those things, I guess. But, we're all individual, we're all unique. We all are sovereign, really. And we need to get into that energy, because regardless of who's who and what's what, it's down to us as an individual to make our own choices. And that's just the way I see it. So, the moon in Aries on the whole can be quite a volatile moon and very emotionally impulsive, like erratically so, since the moon is also in conjunction to Uranus. But we can act kind of impulsively with this moon as well. And, we need to be careful of what situations we're jumping into. We must consider what the outcomes of that move may be. So, with the Aries moon as well, that we can have like temper tantrums. And with Uranus in Aries, we're prone to mood swings. So I still feel like emotionally we're a little bit up and down, very sensitive to others' reactions or what others' opinion of us. So there's just still this highly sensitive energy kind of circulating right now. And especially since Mars is in Pisces. Now, when Mars is in Pisces, he loses his power. Now, Mars is the ruler of Aries. So it's kind of like, when Mars is in Pisces, it's like he's treading through water and he's trying to speed through, but, the water is like, it's like a dredge. Do you know what I mean? It's very heavy and also very murky at times. So, but at 13, degrees, I just feel he is himself going through this emotional transformation. So the masculine energy, I feel, is going through this emotional kind of transformation. And I just feel that's been going on for a while anyway, but it escalates when we have Mars in Pisces at 13 degrees. So that's going to be relevant, quite relevant at this new moon. We also have the moon in conjunction to Jupiter. So when the moon is in conjunction with Jupiter, there is concern around social welfare, but negatively, it can also be about being wasteful and overindulgent, or in a positive sense, it can be very inventive, and gives us again the ability of positive thinking. So there is this element out there. If we're in a good place spiritually, I just feel that we can really do some, or really have some success in manifestation. So, using that creative energy or using all that stagnant energy we may be feeling and focusing that into creative, like music, meditation. It's really all about calming the mind, really, and finding that inner peace, which is not easy in these times right now, especially since there's a lot of shifting going on at the moment, especially since Pluto came into a trine with Uranus. And that's an ongoing aspect that is, goes on for quite a long time. So this is about reform and sudden changes. And for those of us that are more got fixed energy in our zodiac charts, it can be quite daunting because the shift and changes occurring. It's very hard for us to adapt to that. So people may be struggling with that, but this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction as well, which only occurs every 14 years. I mean, it is in separation now, but they are still conjunct. I mean, that's all about expansion and growth. And, again, it's inventive. So another thing I wanted to add, apart from the fact that Pluto's now in retrograde, so this is all about maybe going back over old ground when it comes to like rules and regulations. We've got Mercury coming out of post shadow on the 13th, which frees us up to actually get things moving again, whether that be in contracts or creative art, more so because I think many of us have been very blocked. And we also have Uranus entering into on the 24th of May. And that will be 2000 hours in the GMT time zone. So it'll be in the evening here in the UK, but I'm not sure. I want to do a separate thing about this Uranus entering into Taurus because it's going to be a big shift. So when Uranus entered into Aries, I think around about 2018, 2019, I mean, that was a shift. And, I would say since then, the energies have been very erratic and all over the place. Goalposts have been shifting left, right, and centre. But now Uranus is moving into Taurus. It will give us a little bit more grounding. But what comes with that is, kind of like, but it's going to affect our resources and our monetary systems, that's for sure. But it can also make us a little bit more kind of materialistic in a sense. Uranus is very sudden and very fast paced, whereas Taurus is very slow paced. So hopefully it will slow Uranus down a bit. But it is a good time for like getting into developing your spirituality more or your craft, whatever that may be. And, it gives us, it's a very mature energy that comes with that. But there's always a flip side. And in the physical, material world, I do feel that there's going to be kind of a lot going on. But like I said, I'm going to do a separate thing. I'm not sure if I'm going to do an article yet or a video on this, because I want to look at the aspects in the chart wheel itself. So I should be doing that over the next few days or over the next week or so. But yes, Kindred, so, the best thing I can recommend for this new moon really is to continue any healing work, whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Coming to terms with things, do you know what I mean? And not really having to accept them, but accept the fact that it is what it is. And we need to find creative ways of dealing with that. And also, this big shift with Uranus moving into Taurus later on in the month. I feel like the build up to that, we will be feeling the build up to that because Uranus is hanging around the cusp right now. And Uranus probably will retrograde back into Aries at some point this year. So, but I just feel that, later on in May, there is going to be some kind of shift when it comes to our monetary systems or our resources. So I will let you all know what I decide with that, how I'm going to do that, whether it's going to be an article or video. And I will still link the Mercury retrograde article I wrote, even though it's coming to an end on the 13th. I will still link that below for those of you that haven't read it. And yes, I'm looking forward to catching up with you all again soon. So as always, peace and much love. Take care.